in case you are new to the program, you can join us live every episode on cincyjungle.com, as well as our YouTube channel for the live recordings. You can, if you are able to join us, then you can get the show on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on Google Play, on the Megaphone platform, and then, of course, like I said, Cincy Jungle and YouTube. So subscribe to our channels. Get all the content. There's going to be a lot of content coming up over the next calendar week here between this show and all of the draft stuff next week. So check that out, and we'll get you as much stuff as possible, and hopefully you enjoy it all.
If you had a guess of, like, because we're probably like a few days away from Lapham spilling the beans.
Yeah,
there's usually like 5 or 6 guys who you can pretty much write on a piece of paper as like the guys that they're like for sure targeting. If you had to guess right now, who do you think those 5 guys are? Because I have a tentative list in my head right now.
It's a great question. I think it's White. I think it's Bush. I think it's Oliver. I think it's Wilkins, the kid from Clemson, and maybe it's Haskins. Maybe they do have a quarterback in there, but I think those are the 5 they're probably kicking around. We had asked, and I got a text from I think it was Ken Dipple who said, DK Metcalf. Maybe they trade back and DK Metcalf. I mean, like our reasoning for McLaurin and Ridley, it makes sense, but I don't think a first round pick makes sense there. But it's possible. But I think if you were to ask me, I think it's mostly defense. I think they realized they need some help on that front. That front was deplorable, and then it got even worse as injuries hit. So to me, I think it's mostly defense, maybe a quarterback in there if you're asking 5. Who are yours?
Yeah, I don't, because like White on it would make a ton of sense. I think I'm just going to stick with like the guys who are at least have a reasonable chance of being there, because I think White is just the top 6 pick, like regardless. I think it's Bush, Rashawn Gary.
Really?
Yeah.
You think 2 Michigan boys, huh?
Yeah. It's not going to please Ohio State fans, but I think if it is a quarterback, it's probably Haskins, because that's like the name that's being thrown around a bunch. And then I think Cody Ford is probably on that list too, just based off what interest they've shown there. And then like Oliver's probably with the same like thing as White, where if he's available, he's just becomes like the main option, because how can you say no to that? But I think they may not be playing for him to be on the board. So maybe a guy like Zac Taylor becomes along in that same group with Ford is just like just one of the, if they're going to take a tackle, it's probably going to be Ford or Taylor. And I think it might still be in the cards. So those are like the 4 or 5 that I'm kind of twisting around right now. And Montez Sweat as another edge rusher.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, I did put 2 of my favorite guys in my mock in Bryce Love and Ed Oliver. I mean, those 2 guys they're fun players to watch, and so I think if someone's going to fall to him, someone good's going to fall to him, whether it is a quarterback, whether it no offensive linemen are picked, or whether it's whatever the case may be. I mean, someone's going to fall to him at 11, and
it's going to be hard for him to mess it up, but I won't put it past him if they do this.
Yeah. Your thoughts on we had a 4-round mock from Dan from Tennessee, Devin Bush, Titus Howard,
like him,
from Alabama State, Alize Mack, the tight end from Notre Dame, and Brett Rippon, the quarterback of Boise State. What do you think of that?
I like 3 of those guys. I don't really know that much about Mack, other than the fact that what school he went to.
He's the guy I know the least about, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he's really tall though. It might be the Michigan guy, but no, I like Howard. I think the 20 to 40 range. He might be a 1st-round pick, which for Alabama State would be incredible for him. But obviously Bush is good. I think Howard can develop into a long-term starter at either tackle spot, because he actually ended up rotating between right and left tackle during last year, which is impressive enough. But he really showed out at the Senior Bowl, and Ripen will be interesting. I'm not really sure where he ends up going, because he's doesn't have the prototypical dimensions of a long-term quarterback. So he might end up dropping into the 5th or 6th round, but he's got a live arm, and that may force a team to take a chance on him in the 3rd or 4th round. But if they do end up going with the day 3 quarterback, Ripen's one of my few favorite guys to end up taking that chance on. So I like him.
Yep. We've mentioned this listener a couple times, but he hit us up before the show. Ken Dipple was asking, and I thought this was interesting. It was a lot about why no fullback? Why are the Bengals not using fullbacks and everything? He mentioned, he really is a fan of Moose Johnson. He mentioned him in a couple of texts that he sent our way. Now, Moose Johnson, that's a throwback, and there's just not a lot of battering ram type of guys, Lorenzo Neal's anymore in the NFL. My thoughts initially, John, you're a much smarter guy than I am, and you do more film study and film breakdown than I do. But my thought is the NFL has changed where you spread folks out and the I formations and stuff that just doesn't, it's not used as frequently, and the Bengals run a lot of zone stuff, and that's not very fullback friendly. But your thoughts on that? And do the Bengals need to start employing a guy like that? Maybe take a little bit of the heat off of Andy Dalton and be a power running team.
Well, there are no traditional fullbacks anymore. There are no more Tony Richardsons or Lorenzo Neals and
right
like that exists anymore. But you look at Kyle Shanahan's offense with the 49ers, he uses a player in that position on most of the snaps. Like we look at like the Rams traditional offense and how they go 11 personnel and 3 receivers and 1 running back with the 49ers and with the Falcons back in 2016 when they were really explosive. They ran a lot of 2 receiver sets and really condensed everything. And that's almost like when we talk about teams spreading defenses out, there's always been like a counter movement of teams condensing into the box and getting receivers into multi-directional releases where they can go outside or inside, but also having 2 running backs and a fullback in there. The only thing is that fullback has to be versatile. He can't just be a blocker. He has to be able to run routes. He has to be able to catch the ball. That's why Kyle Juszczyk ended up getting like a $20 million contract with the 49ers and thinking he's a fullback. Why are you paying him that much? Well, because he does more than just block. He ends up running the ball. He ends up going out for a lot of routes. And if the Bengals want to employ a fullback and have him utilize a lot more, they need to use him more than how they use Ryan Hugh, which was just a battering ram downhill. He needs to be athletic. He needs to be able to get out to the flat and be able to run after the catch, because you can't succeed in the NFL when condensing everything like that, but you have to be creative with it, and you can't pretend like it's 2006 anymore. So traditional fullbacks, no, but multi-dimensional fullbacks, you can find a way to be successful with that.
Yeah, and H-back, right?
Yeah, it takes the right offensive mind to do it, and we'll see if that's what Zac Taylor wants. But I don't think we can say with confidence that that's it right now.
Yeah, and who knows if the Bengals take another tight end in this year's draft, which is possible. They then can maybe get a little creative and flexible with CJ Uzomah and Tyler Eifert and maybe a new guy, and they move things around. So they used, I think the Rams used Tyler Higbee a couple times in the backfield. Yeah. Used him as a little outlet guy. So it's possible, but I agree with you. I think it's more of the Ryan Hewitt tight endish H-backish type of mold, not the thumper old school walking square at fullback. So, hey, but thanks for all the questions, guys. It's been a long show, and we're going to get out of here, but it's been a jam-packed show. We've had a lot to talk about between the schedule release, our mock draft, and then the Bengals, of course, are on the clock next week. But yeah, and then, they've got a ton of picks, especially in day 3. So my guess is they'll probably maneuver. I don't think you're going to use 5, 6th round picks, but who knows? I don't know. Any final thoughts, John, before we get out of here?
I'm going to bed. I'm on like 2 hours sleep, and I'm recovering from the flu. So I'm glad we did this. I'm glad we got these takes off, so I can just die for the next couple days.
Well, hopefully don't literally die, but I apologize. I didn't know you had such little sleep. So I know you're not.
We do it for the content.
I know you weren't feeling 100%, but I appreciate it. I suppose this could have waited until next week, but my thinking is we'll probably have a very abbreviated show next Wednesday. And then, John, if you're able to join, we do the reactions to the picks and all that kind of stuff. So just a side note, I haven't figured out the logistics of it yet, but some of those reactions, we may do the reactions on Cincy Jungle's Facebook Live first, and then feed them to the YouTube channel and our audio channels. I haven't figured out the logistics on how I want to do that yet, because we're going to need to maybe kill two birds with one stone or what have you. So we'll figure that out. But either way, the content's going to get to you. We'll probably have an abbreviated episode next week, maybe just some listener questions or something like that, and then move into draft coverage from there. But the NFL draft is right around the corner, and we're excited. Hopefully the Bengals make some significant moves to improve their team and make make a playoff push. For John Sheeran, I hope you feel better, buddy. For John Sheeran, I'm Anthony Cosenza. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all your feedback, your questions, and everything. Get this show on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on Google Play. You can get it on Megaphone, cincyjungle.com, and on YouTube. We'll see you next time.